Hello, friends. Welcome to my chemistry class once again. I believe you are doing fine. Today, before we start what we have here, I want to appreciate you. I want to thank you, those of you that have been following up this channel, and I believe you must have benefited. Yes. For those of you that are not serious about it, subscribe and keep on following. Those of you that are waiting to see or to watch on WhatsApp group or Facebook platform, I want to tell you that not all the videos that you will find there, but if you go to subscribe to my YouTube channel, you will see all my videos. Follow them up from there. So I believe that you will not regret following up. Today we want to talk about stoichiometry. It's a topic that gives most students headache. Whenever they hear about the topic, their minds will cut. So today we are going to work on those areas, those problems that you have been encountering. And from now henceforth, you will be a happy person whenever they are talking about stoichiometry. Now, it has to do with the relationship between the reactants, the mole of the reactants combined. Now you compare that to the mole of the product formed. So without a chemical equation, a balanced chemical equation, you cannot solve this problem. So if you know that you have problem in balancing equation, go and check on one of those videos that I posted. I have taught on how to balance equation. So it will help you greatly in this aspect. Now we are going to take up first problem and then see how we can solve it. Okay, the question is given. It said in the question, calculate the number of moles of calcium chloride. This is the formula for calcium chloride that can be obtained from 25 grams of limestone. This is the formula for limestone, calcium trioxocarbonate 4. In the presence of excess hydrogen chloride, this is the hydrogen chloride. They have given you the various masses of all the elements that they are using in those formulae. Now, in some in some cases, you should know that they may not give you the formula or this formula. They may not give you. Remember, I taught you on how to write correct chemical formula. Don't throw them away. Go back and watch. Then know how to write. If they give you only the names, get the correct formula. Now, without the correct formula, you will not also solve the problem. Remember that I told you earlier today that without a balanced chemical equation, you cannot also solve this problem. In some cases, they can give you. In some cases, they may not, especially like jam. Sometimes they may not give you, but sometimes they may. Okay, so now in this situation, assuming that they have not given you, so the chemical formula, how do you do? Now you say solution. The first thing you are looking for, check the thing. They said calculate the number of moles of calcium chloride that can be obtained, meaning that it is in the product from this gram of limestone. Limestone is the reactant now. Let's start with that. CaCO3 in the presence of excess this. So you HCl is reacted with CaCO3. Now, when that is done, what will be the outcome? The reaction will Bring out, remember this is carbonate. You were taught that when acid is reacting with a carbonate, CO2 will be formed, salt will be formed, water will be formed. So calcium chloride, which is what they have given you there, will be formed. And then water will also be formed, and CO2 will also be formed. So these are the three products formed from these two reactants. So when you get that, balance the equation. Now let's try to balance the equation. Calcium is 1 here. Calcium is 1 here. We move on. It's balanced. Carbon is 1 here. Do not mistaken Cl to be carbon. This is Cl. Carbon is 1. Carbon is 1. It's balanced. O is 3. O, 1 plus 2. That's 3. You move on. H is 1. H, you have 2. So you put 2 here to balance that. And that 2 has affected chlorine that was 1. Now it is what? 2. Chlorine, 2. Chlorine is already 2 here. So that equation is balanced. Okay, now let's go back to the question. They said you should calculate the number of moles. Now, what is very important in the stoichiometry is that you are using moles to solve it. Now, balance the equation with the mole. Now you have balanced the equation. 1 mole of this produces, check what is in front. That's the mole at this point. So here you have invisible 1. Here you have what? 2. Here you have what? Invisible 1. Here you have invisible 1. Here you have invisible 1. But the question says, calculate the number of moles of calcium chloride. Calcium chloride, which is this. Yes, that can be obtained from this, which is this. So our concentration will be on this and this. So I can choose to remove this, and this. Even if they are there, I will not use them. My concentration that they have talked about here is on this and this. Okay. So 1 mole of this produces 1 mole of that. That's what you should establish in your mind. Have that in your mind. Don't forget that. 1 mole of this, 1 molecule of that will produce 1 molecule of this. And from there, you can now move on with your calculation. Check what you have there. They have given you mass of limestone, which is this. But they have given you nothing about this. Okay, so from here, I know people have different ways of calculating it. Since you are calculating number of moles, now let's see what I have from this man. I have this. This is, that's what mass. Mass is 25. 25. I'm writing it under it because it's the honor of that mass, gram. So in the presence of, okay, now if I have mass, I am looking for mole. The formula for mole, this is mass now, remember. The formula for mole is mole equal to mass over molar mass. So I can calculate also the molar mass of this since I have mass of it. But this is what they asked me to calculate. But since 1 mole of this produces 1 mole of that, so I can use this and work out the mole and then use that and compare with this one using this and this. So now mass is what? 23. Sorry, 25. So let's calculate this by, let's calculate this, the molar mass of this, so that I can substitute in this place to have, this is 25 all over, molar mass of this is 20, 40 here. They said here calcium is 40 plus carbon. Carbon is what there? Check, you see 12. plus in the formula, oxygen is 16 times how many? 3. 16 times 3. So this means that if you work out this, 40, 60, let me start from this place. 16 times 3 is equal to 48 plus 12 plus 40. So the whole of this place is 100. So I have 25 over 100. So I can just say 25 mole equal to 25 all over 100. Assuming I have space here, I would have still used this place. So note that what I'm calculating is correct. So now if I should divide this by this, I will now say 25 divided by 100. That gives me 0.25 mole. Okay, now if that is done, the question was that we should calculate the number of moles, and that's mole, of calcium chloride, which is this, that can be obtained from this of limestone, which is this, which is this now. But they have given us mass of this. We have gotten the mole of this. Use that mole of this to compare with the number of moles from the equation. Equation says 1 mole to 1 mole. That means 2 moles of this will produce 2 moles of that. 5 moles of this will produce 5 moles of that. Now that we calculated to get 0.25 mole of this, will also be able to produce 0.25 mole of that. So that's the function of this mole ratio using the equation. Standard balance equation tells you 1 to 1. So 0.25 will also be equal to 0.25 mole of CaCl2. So that's the answer to that question. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, we are still going to push forward to the next question. Here's question 2. What mass of lead 2 trioxonitrate 5, which is this formula, would be required to yield 9 grams of lead 2 chloride, which is this formula, on the addition of excess sodium chloride solution? This is the formula. Now, what are we looking at? Check. They said what mass of these will produce this. That means this is the reactant. When you add the excess this man to this man, you will produce this. So now let's start by writing the equation. Okay, so I will now say solution. First, PB NO3 to react that with this one as they said there. And let me give space so that if I balance it, I will have space here to write something. NaCl to give me this reaction is double decomposition. So if you know the reactant, double decomposition, cation here will take anion here, then cation here will take anion here. So this is cation PbCl2 plus NO3. Okay, so now remember, as usual, when you write equation, you do what? Balance that equation. Now let's see the equation. Let's try to balance it. PB is 1 here. Come to this side is 1. Balancing means whatever thing you have here should be what you have here. So 1, 1 is balanced. Move on to the next element. N is 2 here. N is 2 here. This 2 covers N and oxygen because they are in the bracket. So N is 2. Come to N. N here is 1. Put your 2. So if you put 2 there, let's go to another one. O, 3 times 2 is 6. O is 6 here. Now let's see. 3 times 2, because 2 here covers everything here. 3 times 2, 6 for O. That's okay. We move to Na. Na here is 1 here, but here is what? 2. So I would rather put 2 here. Cl is 2. Cl is 2. So that equation is balanced. Now, with this balanced equation, the question says what mass of lead 2-trioxonitrate 5, which means this man, would be required to yield this of this. That means our concentration are these two. But before that, let's see, the balance equation is telling us that 1 mole of this will give us 1 mole of that. Okay, so if you understand up to that point, so they have given you the mass of this one, which is this one, to be 9 gram. 9 gram. And they are asking you to calculate this other one. Let me raise it up to this place. 9 gram. So to what? You don't know. X. What mass of this one will produce that 9 gram? You don't know. You put X. So from that, for you to be able to get the answer, calculate the molar mass of this, drop. Calculate the molar mass of this, drop. And then cross multiply them, find your X. So now, let me calculate molar mass of this. This is 3. 3 times 2, 6. 6. Remember they said oxygen is what here? 16. Mass of 1 atom of oxygen is what? 16. But you have 6 atoms of oxygen in this place. So multiply this by that 6. So 16 times 6 gives you 96. So 96, okay. Nitrogen, they said, is what? Nitrogen is 14. Nitrogen is 14. Yes, check it. N equal to 14. But here you have 2 of them. Nitrogen, they are 2. 14 times 2, 28. So add that to 40, 96. So I will say plus 28. So 28. Now add that to mass of lead 207 plus 207. That gives me 327. 327. Okay, so let's do same here. This is what? 207. 207 plus 35.5 times how many? 2. That's 71. So plus 71. 278. 278. Okay, so the molar mass of this is this. The molar mass of this is this. And they are asking you to calculate the mass of this that will produce 9 gram. So why not you cross multiply this to this? Cross multiply this to this. Since they are 1 to 1, no problem. Just cross multiply. If they are more than 1, I would have used that value to multiply with this. Use this value multiply with this before I do the cross multiplication. So cross multiply that, and that will be x equal to, since I'm taking this, now I will say this times this before I will take this side. 327, 327 times 9 all over 278. 278. So if you have that, your x, what you're looking for, will now be 327, 327 times 9 divided by 278. That gives me 10.5863309 and so on. So I can make it 10.6 gram. So if you use 10.6 gram here and then react with 9 point, or react with this value, this substance, exactly 9.6 is what you get. Or if you take 9.6 of this, what you get is 10.6 of this other one. So that's the answer to that question. I believe you are enjoying the lesson. It's getting more interesting. So keep on telling your friends to subscribe and then follow up the channel. Now let me give you a problem to solve. Now let's see the assignment. Question 1. From the reaction below, this is the reaction. This means heat. When you heat this, it breaks into this, this, and this. So that's the reaction. What volume of CO2 at STP above when 0.5 mole of this man is heated? So that's question 1. Solve it and then drop the answer. Let's go to question number 2. Zn plus HCl gives you this and this. From the equation above, calculate the volume of hydrogen gas, which is this, produced at STP when 3.25 gram of Zn reacts with the excess dilute HCl. So you can see the equation. They said you should have given you the different masses and then calculate what the volume of hydrogen gas produced at this reaction. So just do it. And then let's see, they have given you zinc to be, mass of zinc is this, molar volume of a gas at STP is this. So use them and then get what you are being asked of. So I believe you enjoyed the class of today, and I wish to encourage you to keep on following, just like some other persons that are following very well, and I believe their life can never remain the same. So yours will not remain the same if you keep on following this. Ask your friends to keep following, subscribe, and then let's see what will happen. Thank you.